I'm Amy. I'm the founder of Metolius Tea. I'm here with my dear friend Taryn and my daughter Sevi and my longest time employee Allison. We've been buying tea from Nepal Tea Collective for about 2.5 years, and we had the opportunity to design a tea up in the tea mountains 2 years ago that fit our aesthetic and flavor profile specs. Pratik was the first one who emailed me and said, hey, I can see from your website that you have really ethics-driven tea company. Our goal from the start has been that every ingredient that we source has some sort of environmental, economic, or social restorative impact in the origin country, which has been a really hard thing to actually accomplish in real life. It's a really nice idea, but it's hard to find those relationships. And when Pratik emailed me, I realized this is everything I want in a tea relationship. But the aesthetics and flavor profile weren't quite what we were looking for. I have really, really specific aesthetic around tea. I like my tea to be big and wild and wiry and equal parts black and gold, but the tea's not quite where we want it to be in terms of flavor profile and aesthetics. And so I told Amigo, we're close, but we're just not there. And then we flew from Kathmandu up to Ilam. We drove up to feed him, and on the way we were visiting factories, and we visited some guys who were doing some really special teas, and they did a cupping for us, and I saw this tea that was wild and wiry and big and gold, and I was like, this is it, Amigo, this is what I want. And I explained to him that this is the level up from what we're getting. And so then we got some samples from these guys, and we drove further up the mountain to where we get our black and gold. And that day it was really rainy and muddy, and we'd gotten stuck in our van several times, and the roads were just washing away. And we left my daughter and my friends at the base of the mountain with some hot chai. And Amigo and I took off on motorcycles up cliffside, muddy, deep, 4-foot deep ravines, next to a giant cliff, and sliding all over on the muddy trails, and up to where the black and gold factory was. And they gave us a beautiful tour and took us in really sweetly. And after the tour, they did a tasting with us. They'd heard I wasn't quite happy, and we pulled out the tea that I want our tea to be. And we showed them, and Amigo explained, this is what we want. And then they pulled out their tea that they'd been producing for us, and they looked almost identical. And I was really taken aback, because this is what I want. And we actually realized that the issue is not in what they're producing, it's in shipping. And so we'd ordered 10 kilograms per case, and there was a little wiggle room. And shipping all the way from up in the mountains to Kathmandu to Oregon in the United States, it's breaking in the shipping. So they figured out a different way to ship it to protect the big leaves so they don't wiggle and break in the shipment. And then the other big piece that we agreed on is that I need a lot more gold in my tea. And the gold comes with the rain. So they're gonna take everything that they've already produced for Metolius Tea and set it aside for other customers. And everything from that day forward that we visited, from when the rains came and we had the muddy motorcycle ride, that day forward is when we get the gold, and that will be saved for Metolius Tea. And then now, 2 years later, we have had such a wonderful time getting to visit the farmers and hand out 1% to the tea pluckers and tea processors, and really be involved in the process and get to know all of the people behind our tea. And now we are basically everything that grows in Nepal, we buy from Nepal Tea Collective. The entire vision of my company has been to have an impact through tea, and it felt like that was going to happen with Nepal Tea Collective, and it really has.